Alrighty guys, how's it going today? Yeah, we're taking a bucket load out. We're gonna spread this out in little piles out here, and then we're gonna get our bunks brought out here, and we'll get all the bunks. Or is there 4 bunks that we'll fill right up? How did these girls clean up? Because I brought 3 bucket loads yesterday morning and then another 2 last night. And they usually inhale it pretty good the first day. It's kind of snowy today. They didn't clean up that great last night. There's still feed out here. But a little bit of wastage, I ain't gonna worry too much about it. That little bit that's out here is nothing. Not sure why they're all crowded over there and not on the bedding. I guess I could bring them some friggin' straw if I can get the bale processor hooked up. All the hydraulic lines will be froze up solid as a rock on the son of a bitch. And they're white cows. All the fat on their back and then that snow on top. They're healthy girls. Right full. Their bellies are right full, which is all right. It's kind of what you want to see, especially when it's this god darn cold. It's like minus 40 still here with the wind chill, and there ain't much wind. I think the actual temperature this morning when I got up was like minus 33. This is Celsius temperatures, guys, Celsius. What that converts down to for my American friends, I'm not 100% sure, but it don't matter what it is, it's cold. Hydraulics are cold on the tractor still. The grapple's not working real quick. Oh, that's a big load. I gotta get myself a fucking screen built on this tractor. Like what Little Red had. There we go. They're not that hungry. They're not even coming over for the feed. That's usually a good sign. When they're hungry and they crowd you, that's not usually a very good sign. But today, they're not even coming to me. They're just hanging out over there. So, anywho, let's get the bunks out here. In this video, we'll kind of discuss how I feed and how some other people feed this cut feed from a tub grinder. We'll talk to you guys later. Alrighty guys, so the way I generally feed our big cow herd out in the pasture is, you're gonna see it all happen today, but it's in these bunks like this one right that we're carrying right now. I got 3 of these big steel bunks. There's no floor in them. So you can't really, to move them, I just grab them by this top rail that's on the bunk. You can kind of see it there. And we haul the feed out to the cows with the bucket of the tractor. So it's a lot of trips every couple days. Lots of you have seen me do this, but there's lots of new subscribers that unless they've been watching and unsubscribed, well, there's lots of you guys that have not seen me do this if you're new to the channel. So I'm just hauling this one out. I've got 2 bunks with this top rail on it. It's like 12 inches up, right in the middle of the bunk. And then I've got 1 bunk that I actually took the top rail off of, thinking it would be better with it out on there. And I'm very tempted to pull the rail off of the other 2, because I really don't like it, but it is handy when you're trying to move them. Anyways, with that being said, we're just taking these out. We're gonna get them set up out here. The cows have come and they're eating on the piles that we made out there. Anyway, we'll get these 3 bunks out, and then I have a 4th one that I built myself, and I'll show that one to you when we go to grab it. We'll talk to you later. Alrighty, so we've got 2 30-foot bunks right here, back to back, or end to end. And then we got that one over there with no rail on it. That is also a 30-foot. Now these 3 bunks, all 3 of them, none of them have floors. So that means you can't pull the bunk to the cut feed pile, fill it out there, and drag it back out. But I do have one that is like that I built myself. Actually, I've got 2, and I got to do some major changes to the one. So anyways, we're gonna go get these bunks here, 4 feet wide and 30 feet long, and then the other one that I've got, it's a steel frame. It's also 4 feet wide and 30 feet long, but it's got a full floor in it. So the sides are wood and the floor is wood, and it's got a full skid on it, so I can hook a chain to it, pull it with the tractor right to the cut feed pile, fill it at the pile, and drag it back out to the cattle out here. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna go get that bunk and get it filled up. We'll bring you back in a little bit. Hey guys, so that's the bunk that I built. It's wood, it was steel frame, but wood sides, wood floor all the way through, and you just pull it with a chain. You can see it down there. I'm hooked up to the chain. It holds, there it is, we're going now. It holds 4 bucket loads. It holds 4 bucket loads without using the grapple. So what do I mean by that? See that bucket load of cut feed? The grapple's closed. With the grapple closed, the bucket holds a lot more. So if I never had a bucket, or a grapple I mean, and just a straight bucket, that's how I fill this thing. So there's 4 bucket loads in that bunk right there. So 30 foot, and the chain came undone. See? 30 foot bunk can easily accommodate basically 30 cows all the way around. So yeah, a 30-foot bunk, I can get basically 15 cows across the end and down one side, like across one end and then down the one side. So we can put 30 cows on this bunk if we really wanted to. Hooked up again. See if it stays hooked up for the way out to the field. Or to the pasture, I should say. Alrighty, here we go again. Let's give this another go round. And theoretically speaking, those other bunks, like basically more or less 30 cows on a bunk, you can cut it back 25. So we got 4 bunks in total that we're going to be filling today. So with 4 bunks in total, theoretically we should be able to feed 100 cows off of these 4 bunks. Comfortably 25 cows a bunk. Now, we don't got 25 cows out there, we got 53 cows out there. You goofy fucking things. I don't know why they're coming up to the yard like this. They're just being silly. Anyways, they're thinking they're gonna get put in the corral. But anyway, so theoretically, I know I can, in the past, with all my bunks full, that would last my cows for 3 days. So I fill them right up today. They would eat all day today, all day tomorrow, and I would have to be out here by Friday evening, because today's Wednesday, December the 21st, I believe, 20th or 21st? Wednesday the 20th. Nope, 21st is today. So it's December 21 today. If I fill all my bunks, I would have to be out here on the 24th filling them again. They would be right empty. So let's get this bunk out there and get the cows filled up with feed, and I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Alrighty, so we dropped our wood bunk, our skid bunk, over there. And that big bucket load of feed that I just had in the bucket is in here. So I got to dump half a bucket load in here again. So that's the difference that it makes. And then we got to haul another. So I got to haul 1, 2, 3, basically 4 more bucket loads to fill all these bunks. So that's 5 bucket loads. And that should keep these girls quite happy for a little while. Now this is how I feed it. I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way. It would be awesome if I had a feed wagon and then I can just fill the wagon, but then you need 2 tractors running. I could just fill the wagon though, come out, fill my bunks all in one big wagon load, and be done with it. Some guys have made comments to me in the past, well, BP, just use your bale processor and fill the bale processor. That doesn't work that good because the friggin' shit will bridge a little bit. And then you're fighting with it in there. And once it bridges in that Jiffy processor of ours, it doesn't like coming out worth a damn. I used to have, if you guys remember, an old manure spreader. And I always thought maybe I could convert that sucker. It had a chain floor in it, and convert it into like a feed wagon and take the take the beater off the back end and just put an auger on the back end so that you can auger off to the side and fill your bunk that way. But we ended up selling it, so that's not going to happen. So this is how I do it anyway. Yeah, it's lots of trips, but you know what? It's only once every 3 days, 4 days, so it ain't that bad. Now, if you guys remember back a few minutes ago, well, to you it's just a few seconds ago. To me, it was a few minutes ago. I said I had another bunk, and some of you will remember it. It's right there. The welds didn't break. The steel ripped out. I had this that came up another 4.5, 5 feet higher. And the idea was to close it in on the top half and have a neck rail so it would hold a lot of feet at one time. Well, the steel ripped out of the top, right along the edge of the weld. So we're going to take that upper framework off altogether and just run with it as a basic bunk. We used to put round bales in it, and it worked pretty good for that because it would hold like 2 or 3 round bales. But anyways, we're just going to drive back and forth and fill our bunks. And then we'll discuss, as we're doing that, some other ways of feeding the cut feed. Talk to you later. So, some of you guys have made the comments about, well, BP, doesn't your pile blow away if it gets really windy? To be honest, guys, the worst time for this pile, the way it's sitting here right now, is when you're grinding. If you can get it ground up and have at least 2 days, the day you're grinding and the next day to be relatively calm, then it'll settle down and it really doesn't move much. The only time it moves is when you're digging into it. So, to answer your question, no, the pile does not blow away in the wind. If we get a really bad wind, like 70, 80, 90K, then it will blow some. Some will blow away. I'm not going to deny it. It's not foolproof. It's not perfect. But, hell, in that kind of wind, 100K, 150K, buildings blow away in that kind of wind. But, you know, like 30, 40, 50 kilometer an hour wind. So 50K wind is, how many miles an hour is that? Roughly 40, 45 mile an hour is 50 kilometers an hour, something like that. No, the pile does not blow away. It settles down and it's fine. And it'd be best if you had a snowfall on it, and the weight of that snow will help pack it down and cover it, and it'll sit there quite well. And even better yet is if I had some really tough bales, like high moisture bales, like 30, 36, even just about 40% moisture type bales. This goddamn cow's pissing me off. She came up here 2 times already. I gotta get her out of here. She's gonna cause problems for the whole day. So yeah, if I had some tough bales, that would be the best. And there she goes, around the fucking corner again. I'll get her back after. Because that'll help really settle it down. You mix a few really tough bales in there, and that'll really settle that that pile down so it doesn't move. My buddy that we went and tub ground, we loaded the machine for him. Yeah, his bales were quite tough, I'm sure he was running 35% moisture and higher. And that makes it really tough when it's that kind of moisture. Makes it for slow grinding and really hard grinding. Okay, that's just another pinpoint for all you. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Alrighty guys, well, we got one more bucket load to haul out, and then those bunks will be full. So another option, another way of feeding this stuff, what I've seen guys do, and what my buddy Daryl does, he basically has it in a crowled off area that he grinds into, and three sides are all blocked off, and then he has a feeder panel that goes on the one end, and he just moves the feeder panel in as the cows eat it back. So that's, that would be pretty handy if you've got enough room there to put such a feeder panel. Like Daryl ground 85 in between, right around 85 bales the other day when we were grinding, and he sets up corral panels down the sides and across the one end, and then a feeder panel at the opposite end, and the cows come in and eat off through that feeder panel. What the hell am I talking about by a feeder panel? Well, basically just imagine that square bale feeder that I'm kind of building, and it's 21 feet long. So that would be your feeder panel, and he just puts that on the end and then gives it a nudge with his skid steer or tractor or whatever as the cows eat the feed back. Then when they can't reach no more, then he pushes this ahead into the pile, and then they can eat there for a few more days, and all is good. That's how he feeds this stuff. I've also seen where some guys have taken electric wire and they put electric wire around the pile and then just move the wire in as the cows eat it back. Downside to that is you get a nasty goddamn storm and it covers the wire with snow, and then because I know this happened to one guy, we ended up getting a nasty freaking snowstorm. It covered the pile with snow really bad. It covered the wire really bad. The wire shorted out because of the snow, and then the cows were on top of the pile and just destroyed it. They shit all over it. Like, he was able to utilize lots of it still, but they made a hell of a mess. So, another way of doing it is fence line feed. Like if you're in a corral situation, or bunk feed. Like in our case here, CP and I, we've got our corrals set up on fence line feed. Kind of showed that to you guys a few times, and the other day our 6 cows that we bought, the new ones, they're in a corral all by themselves, and I gave them a bucket load of this stuff the other day. So, and they're still eating off of that one bucket load, them 6 cows. You just got to go in and we fork it up and all is good, right? Anyways, just numerous options on how to do it. It just depends on you experimenting and figuring out what works best for you. Now, why grind? Well, the biggest reason why we grind, the cows can utilize all of the feed sources that we've got a lot better. You can have old, poor quality feed, mix it with some good quality feed, and if you had shitty feed, poor feed, and that's all you fed all winter, then your cows, it's going to show in your animals. But if you've got some good feed and you grind it in, mix it with poor feed, your cows will do phenomenal on it. Also, a real big one is the waste. Over the years, I figure I've cut my waste down by tub grinding to in between 3 to 5% waste. Well, at 3% waste versus unrolling a round bale or round bale feeder, where you can have anywhere from 20 to some guys say they have probably close to 30% waste off of their round bale feeders, 15% waste off of from unrolling a bale or shredding a bale. And with shredding, usually what happens is your fines, the stuff that carries the most nutrient for your animal, the small leaf, that stuff gets blown away and the cows don't really get much of it. Oh, bad bump. Anyways, so you can have 15%, even 20% waste from unrolling a bale or shredding a bale with a bale processor. So if you can cut your waste, you got 1,000-pound bale and you have 3% waste. Well, what's 3% of 1,000 pounds? 30 pounds. But if you have 1,000-pound bale and you have 20% waste, that's 200 pounds that you're throwing away. So for every 1,000-pound bale, you lose 200 pounds. So if you have 100 bales, that's 200,000 pounds. If my math is correct. I'm not sure if my math is correct with all of this or not, but I don't got a calculator in front of me, but this is just rough figures. In our case, we're feeding on average 1,500-pound bales, and there's waste out here. For sure, there's waste. So whether we shred them or whether we unroll them, there's definitely a fair amount of waste. Also, with the cut feed, when the cows fill up on cut feed, they stay full longer because they're able to utilize all the feed sources a lot better than a bale processor, that long stemmy stuff that the bale processor, it rips it apart a little bit, but it doesn't chop it up as fine as this stuff is. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is they have to work a lot harder to utilize the feed sources. Back to the waste issue. If you've got 200 pounds of waste per bale that you feed, you start calculating that in at, let's say, well, in this area, bales are selling for approximately 7 to 8 cents a pound. So for every 100 pounds, 7 cents into 100 pounds, what is that? I don't know. $7? Is that right? So for 200 pounds, that's $14. My cost to grind this feed, not counting fuel, my cost to grind the other day was like $5 a bale. So, and then you add the fuel in there, which was about, I don't know, 40 to 50, maybe 60 gallons. So I'm probably sitting around $6 a bale, fuel included. We're actually making money from the savings just on our waste. Can't complain with that, guys. I'd have to sit down and figure it all out, calculate it all out, and put it on paper to give you exact better numbers. But it's just things that you can consider. If you guys get a chance, go ahead and do the paper, the math yourselves. And I myself, if you're in a feed shortage type of situation, in my estimation, you would be foolish not to grind. There we go. These bunks are full. And, well, take a look around. We got a few cows eating here, a few cows eating there. The very first bucket load we brought out this morning and made little piles. There's a couple cows eating over there. There's one cow over by the bedding pack. She's not hungry. And there's a bunch over in the bush because they're not hungry. They're just hanging out over there. So, yeah. Another one coming back from getting a drink of water. So there you go. Normally when I come out with the bale processor, here, I'm going to give you an example, guys. Bale processor. See all this feed on the ground? That's waste from the bale processor. Some of it's covered with snow there. All of this right through here, that's all bale processed feed. All of this longer stuff all through here. And we've had snow since I've been grinding feed or shredding feed with the bale processor. In behind where these cows are all standing, that's all that yellow barley, yellow oat and green oat feed. So that's all the waste. So yeah, it does make a huge difference on your waste. So if you're trying to save some money and save on having to buy bales, I'd say you'd be foolish not to be tub grinding. If you can find somebody that'll come and do it. Anywho, my own 2 cents, guys. Okay, I am sure I've got way more than enough for you guys for this video. If you have any other questions about tub grinding, by all means, put them down in the comment section. Or, hey, go back in my videos. I'm sure you guys have the knowledge to find my phone number. And if you want, give me a phone call. And I'd be more than willing to discuss the tub grinding thing with anyone. So, and give them options, so on and so forth. So, I'm going to let you all go. We'll talk to you later. Give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Fun, fun, fun. Let's get her done. Stay warm, everybody.